Gradient. Gradient is another word for slope, and it shows how steep a straight line is. The higher the gradient, the steeper the line is. Look at the examples. The line segment AB is steeper than the line segment AC. In turn, this is steeper than AD. We can say that the gradient of a line is a measure of its steepness. Imagine you walk up the CD segment line. With each step you take, you are moving horizontally to the right and also vertically upwards. We can measure the gradient using these vertical and horizontal distance. They are the height and base of the triangle. We can quantify this steep slope by measuring the relative changes in x direction and y direction as we move from the beginning to the end of the line segment. One way to measure the gradient is to use ratios. The gradient of a line may be found by dividing the change in y direction by change in x direction. Or simply, gradient is y change over x change. In the formula, we usually replace the word gradient with the letter m. By the way, my apologies if you do not look like the figure. I know you are not a bear. When calculating the gradient of a line, you always start moving horizontally from left to right. Let's calculate the gradient of each line segment. Line A. Choose 2 points on the segment line and work out from left to right. The exchange is 3. You should remember that when the y-coordinate is positive, it moves upwards. So the y-change is positive. The y-change is 5. The gradient is 5 over 3. Gradient of line B. Choose 2 points on the segment line and work out from left to right, always. The exchange is 4. When the y-coordinate is negative, it moves downwards. So the y-change is negative. The y-change is minus 2. The gradient is minus 1/2. Gradient of line segment C. Exchange is 5. But y-change is 0. The gradient of any horizontal line is 0, since the y-change is 0. The gradient of line segment D. There is no exchange. The gradient of any vertical line is undefined, since the exchange is 0. Look at the diagrams. As we go from left to right along each line, the line A travels up, but the line B travels down. We say that line A has an upwards gradient, whereas line B has a downwards gradient. Upwards sloping lines have positive gradient because the y-change is positive, whereas downwards sloping lines have negative gradient because the y-change is negative. Look at the diagram. For a horizontal line, the gradient is 0 because the y-change is 0. For a vertical line, the gradient is undefined because the exchange is 0 and division by 0 does not exist. Now it is your turn.